Somebody Told Me by The Killers. You're listening to John Robbins and Elis James on Radio X. And Elis, somebody told me that you had a rather troubled night last night.
Yes, I did. There was a very, 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 very disturbing house party in our... Now, I thought Mogwai at Latitude in 2006 was the loudest thing I'd ever heard.
Mogwai at Reading 2001 for me.
But it wasn't as loud as the house party in the house opposite me last night. Now, it was so loud, I actually thought it was coming from a few streets away, but it was bouncing around our neighbourhood to the extent that it was sort of confusing. And the lady next door went round and she asked them to turn it down, and they did for about 10 seconds. And then at about midnight, I was at the end of my tether, and I went round, and I went up to the guy in the decks, because the decks were set up in the garden. That's great, isn't it? with their very big, loud speakers. And I said, "Excuse me!" And it was so loud, he couldn't hear what I was saying. It was like a sitcom, like a 70s sitcom. And obviously, I've got a daughter who was crying, so I had to do the sort of international sign for rocking a baby to sleep. Sort of like Bebettou's celebration in USA 94. And he didn't understand that, so I took him to one side and I said, "Excuse me, mate, you've got to turn this down." He went, "Oh, sorry, where do you live?" I said, "I live opposite, mate." And he went, "Oh, right. Well, because we gave letters to next door to say that we were going to have the party. Why don't I just turn the bass down?" And I was so amazed at this bizarre olive branch. I went, "Oh, that'd be great, yeah." And he went, "Okay, I'll turn the bass down." So then I went back and as he said, what's happened? I said, "They're going to turn the bass down." And then he turned it back up again. And because it was all gangster rap, there were loads of sirens in the tracks. So as I was trying to get to bed, every now and then I think, "Oh, great, someone's called the police." No.
Great, someone shot the DJ.
Yeah. I think, "Oh, great, someone's called the police." And they've sent the LAPD because it's that loud. And I'd realised that it was part of the song. And it was still going at 4:30 in the morning.
Why? Well,
4:30.
Why didn't you call the police?
We did call the police, but it's South London on a Friday, so obviously they've got other stuff to...
But do you call 101?
Yes, and they said, "Yeah, we'll look into it." But it was still going at 4:30 a.m.
Well,
I am glad that I live in an area where people know how to have fun.
That happened to me.
Feel young.
In 2007, and I unplugged their decks.
Yeah, I considered that, and I did not have the courage.
I went upstairs, exactly the same thing. Decks were in a bay window with the window open, probably 1 a.m. in Bristol. I went in. I got out of bed. Took off my pyjamas, put on my jeans and leather jacket to make me look hard.
Yes, I changed into different clothes because I wanted to imply that I was like, "Hey, I know what parties are like, for crying out loud. I've been in my fair share."
You turned up with your cap on backwards.
Yeah.
And your wallet on a chain.
Yeah.
But I went into the room, unplugged them, and in no uncertain terms got my face, because I was so angry. I've never been in confrontation in my life, but I got face to face with the guy and asked him repeatedly if he was mentally ill and swore.
Oh my God!
And he looked at me as if he wanted to start, but just he could see in my eyes that this was not a time for jokes.
I didn't have the nerve for that. And when I went up to the guy on the decks, because obviously nobody knew who I was, it was quite obvious what was happening, and everyone looked at me and I said, Excuse me, mate!" And I thought of you. I thought, imagine if I pulled the plug. And then imagine if I died. Wouldn't it be terrible?
Because when you pull the plug, it makes them kind of come face to face with how loud it is.
Yeah, I just think...
It's the silence that speaks volumes.
I mean, I admire your bottle, but I've got too much left to give. What would happen to Radio X?
Weak. As Tony Blair once said to Michael Howard.
I think so.
Was it Major?
I think it was Michael Howard. Oh.
You've got to back yourself in that situation, mate, because everyone on the street is agreeing with you.
Yeah, I think I might go around to the people next door to the party house and say, "We need to come up with a strategy." God, that's dweeby. What happened to me? I used to be that guy.
Pull the plug, mate. No. Anyway, folks, do text in if you've got any tactics for how Elis can strap on a pair.
You should have seen how I was dressed. I look like
it's not a strong enough message.
I look like a debutante.
You don't beat antisocial behaviour with dress code, do you?
Well, no, I know that now. Oh, God, I hate my neighbours.
Anyway, folks, if you want to check out a more polished and amusing version of my story there, it is on YouTube, as it formed part of my successful stand-up routine from 2007 to 9, and briefly in tougher gigs 11, 12 and 13.